Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Thought in Progress, subtitled I Have Something to Say. It's been a long time since I did a fresh new video. Um, just a quick vlog entry that I like to do. I'm going to start doing more often at the beginning of videos. Still working at Einstein. Uh, I don't know if I mentioned this before. I probably haven't. I don't think it's been so long since I did a video. But I was at the fireworks down at the Parkway on July 4th, when all hell broke loose and I found myself running for my life. Um, so I just wanted to share that. The police during that incident were great, and everybody somehow was safe except for two grazed wounds to officers. Um, they did uh, end up finding out that it was celebratory gunfire, so it was just like a stray bullet or two. Um, which was interesting. And I just want to, lift up my thanks to God for protecting everyone because it was quite miraculous that no one got hurt during that incident. That being said, I did weeks or maybe a month before that, I did write an article that I submitted on gun violence. As you guys know, I am a writer. Uh, those who've followed my videos. So I'm waiting to hear back whether that this was an article essay contest, another essay contest through work. I had done one previously um, that won an award on another subject. So yeah, speaking of my writing, still working on the paperback version. Hopefully it'll be out within a year. Um, Still rewriting some bits and pieces and editing, and that's kind of taken a backseat to some other projects that I'm working on. But I do continue to think about and work on that. Uh, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Um, Looking forward to going back to work tomorrow for another week. I'm going to start working Saturdays again every other weekend. Um, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I do want to talk about a couple things today. I want to talk about pain. I want to talk about a little bit about belief. And also, thirdly, I want to talk about limitations, human limitations, which is always interesting to me. I don't know quite know why. It's just probably because of my faith. Uh, I think with the way my faith presents in my life that I think a lot about limitations, my own limitations, forgiveness surrounding those limitations, grace surrounding those limitations. That being said, let's start with limitations. When we're talking about human limitations, it's fairly simple because all you have to do is think about God, and He's unlimited in a sense. So what we do, we take bits and pieces of what makes God God, and then we kind of parse it down. So we might talk about omnipotence, right, for God, you know, all powerful. So when we get to the human limitation behind that, we're limited in power, we're limited in agency, we're limited in ability to do things. We don't have a exhaustive way of interacting with the world. It's a limited way of interacting with the world and um, making our thoughts and things and needs present. We have a limited way of doing that. We have a limited way of taking care of our needs. Whereas if we were unlimited, we probably wouldn't have any needs. Um, that being said, I think God's needs, if we're going to get spiritual about this, um, in my opinion, God's only need is relationship with us, with humanity, and the love that He gets out of that, and the glory that then returns to Him. And I'll share another, since we're on this subject. This is kind of a recent revelation I've had, a theory of mine that, and this is probably going to bug some of the viewers, because I'm about to get very religious and probably controversial. Um, I think it could be possible that when Lucifer fell out of heaven, and stay with me here, Lucifer fell out of heaven, you know, then humanity kind of springs up. But would it be terrible to say that God is bringing bits and pieces of Lucifer back into the fold, um, so that Lucifer fell to heaven, dispersed, and then we got humanity. We're all bits and pieces of fallen angels that are hopefully being redeemed, bits and piece wise, back to God. Um, and if you have any questions about that, or want me to go more detail into that, please leave it in the comments. Leave your thoughts. Be nice, but leave your thoughts and things in the comments. And I'm sorry if I offended anyone. These are just ideas. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to just put ideas out there. That none of it is truth, unless you want to believe it is. Um, which brings us into our next topic: belief system. When we talk about beliefs, we're talking about human beliefs. I might believe in God, right? Um, However, God's existence does not depend on my believing in Him. Um, some would say that it does. Some would say that that's how God is sustained. He's fed by our beliefs and our prayers. Again, theory. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not true. But since God was there before humanity existed, I would have to say that God is independent of our beliefs in Him. Um, and that means that God is a religious. In other words, um, God is not Christian, God is not Buddhist, God is not Muslim. God is beyond all those things, which means that quarreling between religions is pointless. I hope you're following me here. That being said, I'm a Christian. I'm also a Buddhist. I kind of um, put the two together, and that's kind of what I subscribe to. Uh, that being said, religion is man-made. God is there. God is there. God is there independent of religion. Religion is man-made to then connect with God. Um, what does that mean? It means that um, the Bible, and this could be offensive to some people, but the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, or whatever it's called, Bhagavad Gita, whatever it's called, you guys know what I'm talking about. All those holy works, I hate to say this, but they're man-made. They really are. They might be inspired by God, but they're not written directly by God. So that means that the taint of humanness, the taint of the limitation of humanness, gets into those works, gets into the Bible, gets into the Quran. Um, Many times in the Bible, we're talking about slavery, we're talking about women not having the same rights. It's all there in the Bible. Um, yeah, it's all, and some far right people can even justify some very terrible things in the name of God, in the name of the Bible. Um, and that's real thing these days, especially these days. But the Bible is man-made. It's inspired by God, right? But um, as much as God is changeless and timeless, I do think that through his relationship with us, the understanding of God and the ability to know God's mind does evolve, so that the Bible should be reinterpreted in terms of love always and the current situation, which means that the Bible is a little outdated right now, as is the Quran and other religious works. And I know some people are really offended right now. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I'm just offering ideas. Um, but yeah, I mean, it all. begs for reinterpretation, for new interpretation, in my opinion. Um, and it may be time for something new, you know. Um, I mean, we're 2,000 years after Christ, um, several hundred years after Muhammad, years and years, thousands and tens of thousands of years after Buddha. So where's the new stuff? And the new stuff might just be a reinterpretation and a rethinking. And it's unfortunate because what happens is people hold on to these ideas that are thousands of years old with such rigidity that they can't see their own stuff in front of them, the current time period, you know, and everything to them is sin at that point, you know, or yeah, or apostasy and hypocrisy and everything. Um, so let's step into the now. Let's reinterpret things. It's there's nothing about God that is rigid. There's nothing about truth and holiness. Yes, they are kind of ultimate, sure, but our understanding of them is evolving, and that's okay. That's okay because we don't hold as since we're limited beings, we don't hold the keys to that. God does, and He's going to reveal that in bits and pieces to us, and we're going to understand that in even smaller bits and pieces, so that the relationship continues to evolve. We get closer and closer to God, which is closer and closer to perfection, which is closer and closer to understanding in a more complete sense, closer and closer to, you know, getting past our limitations as frail human beings of the flesh and touching something truly holy. Okay. So I did say I would also talk about pain. Um, when we think about pain, and this, I probably should just take a whole nother different episode, but I'm going to try and cover it here. We talk about pain. Pain is a teaching tool. We talk about pain like if I burn myself or I cut myself, I'm in pain, so I know I need to attend to it. Right? Something needs my attention. It's painful, and we can talk about that in a society sense, in a collective society sense, in a psychic sense. Um, but what happens is people demonize pain as the same way they demonize needs, the same way they demonize limitations. And it's natural to do so. If something's negative, then it must be negative. We must have a negative lens to look at it. And pain is negative, but it doesn't have to tear us apart. It doesn't have to be looked at as negative. It could be just say, oh, something I'm in pain. Let me attend to that. We can talk about that as a society as well, with all these mass shootings, right? Climate change. The world's in pain. Let me attend to that without judgment. Without judgment, right? What are the sources? What is the source of my pain? How can I fix and heal it without just throwing a band-aid on it and sweeping it under the rug? Um, and these are just thoughts that I hope the people who view these videos will pick up and run with and take to another level, because I don't have the answers. I'm just here offering my thoughts in progress, and I'm offering something that I need to say that I hope you take and do something more with. Um, yeah, no, don't judge, don't react in anger to the pain. It doesn't help. Just say, "Oh, okay, I'm curious. Why is this in pain? Let me see what I can do to attend to this." Not because here's what happens, especially with psychic pain. I'll feel uh, disrespected, or someone hurt me, or I lost face in a social setting. So um, then I'm in pain, but then I bury it. I bury it. I don't address it. I don't attend to it. It then feeds on other stuff, right? And by the time I want to address it, it's a raging monster. And there's only one way to address that, and that's through anger and violence and rage and stuff. So it's really important to learn to coexist with the pain, to hold it, to nurture it. Say, yes, I see you. And you can even think of it as a child, your inner child crying. Yes, I see you. I see that you're in pain. What can I do to help you? How can I heal you? How can I help you? Right? And that's kind of what we need to do as a society and to move forward and in our own lives and, um, just try and figure it out. And it's not easy. And I invite you to pray and meditate about it. Um, and check out my books too. And there'll be more coming. I've got an author's page as well on Facebook. And I'll probably upload some new poems to that. Yeah, just look for me out there in the multiverse of the internet, and you'll find me. All right. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.